Have you guys ever driven home from a poker session, windows open, radio off, contemplating if you should take up checkers? Well, that's exactly how this session went.
Unfucking-believable, man. Unbelievable. So I'm tilting pretty hard.
I know what the choice is. I see that.
Guy's got perks.
I'm Kyle. I'm just your friendly neighborhood firefighter by day, saving lives, putting out fires, falling on the news. And when I'm not embarrassing myself at a fire scene, I'm also a wedding cinematographer. And I'm not sure what job is more stressful, to be honest, but damn, look at that shot. But wait, there's more. I am a husband, dad, and stepdad to 4 kids running amok. Oh my God, like, see, what is she doing? But this is my poker channel. I love the game, the strategy, the thrill of the play, whether it's live tournaments or cash games, anything but online poker. Fuck online poker. So join me as we dive into the ups and downs, the wins, the losses, and everything in between. From poker tips and strategies to behind-the-scenes looks at my life, there's a lot to explore. So hit that subscribe button, like the video, and ring the bell for notifications. Let's stack those chips together and enjoy the ride. Welcome to the channel. Well, it is a beautiful July afternoon, and we are at Mohegan Sun Casino in Connecticut, grabbing my tall boy Diet Coke and heading over to the poker room. We're going to buy into this 2-5 game for $1,000, and we are going to look down at King Jack offsuit from middle position. Let's get folded to us, and we're going to open it up to $15. The hijack makes the call, and the big blind also makes the call for the discounted price. Off to a flop of King, Queen, 10, 2 spades. Big blind checks over to me. As the initial aggressor, I'm going to c-bet for $20. And the hijack is going to come along for the ride. We do lose the big blind. So we now go heads up to a turn. Ten of hearts hits the felt, and I am going to slow down and check for pot control, and the hijack then comes out for a $45 bet. Alarm bells do start going off in my head at this point. The board is paired. There is a straight on the board. There are flush draw possibilities. And having King Jack ourselves, we do block Ace Jack, and I think with that hand he would have 3-bet me pre-flop anyway. He could also, and possibly more likely, think that my C-bet was pretty hollow, and I might have like a middle pocket pair or something. So for $45, we do make the call and see a river heads up. When I flick in the call, I do catch a live tell on him. He does not look happy that I'm still in this hand. When the 8 of diamonds hits the river, I check, and I should have bet here looking back, really following through with my live tell, because we check around and he immediately mucks. He had absolute garbage, and we take down the first pot of the night with a pair of kings. Moving right along, we have Ace-9 of hearts in middle position. There is a limper from under the gun, and I'm going to open it up to $20. We get a call from the cutoff and the button, and the initial under the gun limper decides to come in for the discounted rate of $15 at that point anyway. So we are going 4-handed to a flop. Four, Queen, Jack, 2 diamonds on the flop, and all 4 of us check around. Turn comes out the deuce of spades, and nobody seems interested in this hand. It checks around again. Now when the 9 of spades hits on the river, we do pick up some showdown value. So I'm just going to see if I can steal this pot right here, and I go out for $35. The cutoff folds, but the button then raises me to $90. The under the gun folds, and it's back on me for an additional $55. We went check on the flop and the turn here. This guy could just be thinking I'm trying to steal the pot with ace high. I honestly thought my 9 was good here. All the flushes missed, and the only hand that really connects would be 10-8, which, I mean, I did open it up to $20 pre-flop. I don't know if 10-8 is 5 times big blind worthy. King 10 also gets there. That may be more of a possibility, but I do flick in the $55, and we are shown the bad news when he has, wouldn't you know it, 10-8. I would have been more happy to give up this pot if he flipped over King 10. Okay, down about $150 on the session from that last hand, and we look down at pocket fives from the button. And everybody's going to fold to me, and I'm going to open it up to $15, and both blinds do put in the call. So we go off to a flop of King, King, 5, rainbow. We flop a full house. That is a beautiful thing. Let's hope they have a king, and if not, we're going to let them catch up. Checks all around to the turn, and the queen of diamonds hits the felt. The small blind then puts out a feeler of $15, which gets rid of the big blind, but I put on a little bit of Hollywooding and eventually make the call. We go off to a blank river of the 3 of clubs. The small blind tries to steal it again with a $20 bet. And at this point, I'm just thinking of how much I can raise to get him to call. If he has nothing, he's not going to call me regardless, so I have to pick a sizing that's going to target King X hands, Queen X hands. So I almost min-click it to $55, and he snap folds. So I think we made the max on that. An orbit or two later, we look down at pocket queens and open it up to $20, and absolutely everybody folds. We make the minimum on that one and move on. All right, this one's a fun one. We look at ace-jack offsuit from the small blind. There's an open of $15 from under the gun, and middle position and hijack both make the call. I also make the call, and the big blind folds. So we are going to go 4 ways to a flop of Jack, 6, 9, all diamonds. I double check to see if I have a diamond, and wouldn't you know it, I have the ace of diamonds. Nothing better than that. I block the nut flush. Actions on me, I check. Under the gun also checks. Middle position then bets $15. We lose the hijack, and now I decide to raise it here and now to $45. We lose under the gun, but middle position puts in the call. I'm thinking he has a decent 1 diamond hand. If he already had the flush, I feel like he would have bet a lot more trying to get the better diamonds off of the hand. Or at least that's what I would have done, but what do I know? So now we're going heads up to a turn. The pot's already pretty good at $155. And the turn comes out another diamond, the deuce of diamonds, and we have the nuts. Let's get sneaky. We decide to check, and middle position then bets out for $60. Now at this point, I'm debating on whether to just call or to raise right here and now. And I feel like if I show any kind of aggression, he's going to know I have the ace of diamonds, because obviously he doesn't have it. So whether I do it now or on the river, I do not think I'm getting 3 streets of value. And I really feel like if I try to trap him and call the 60 and then on the river check again, he's just going to check any kind of showdown value. So I decide to just bring it right here and now and raise his $60 to $200. Now, I like this sizing because if he does have the king of diamonds or the queen of diamonds, it's going to put him in a weird spot. But again, in this situation, any player showing this kind of aggression is pretty much playing their hand face up. It's very obvious that I had the ace of diamonds, and that's okay because we win. Now, I turned my camera on late for this hand because I honestly didn't plan on playing it. I thought this was going to be an easy fold, but we are in a limp pot from the button with King 8 offsuit, and the flop comes out King, King 3. Flopping 3 of a kind kings definitely does not suck, especially when it is the last hand of the night that you are going to win. You just don't know it yet. Anyway, when the 9 of hearts hits the turn and the under the gun bets $10, and I'm the only one to call to the river, we go off heads up to a brick deuce of diamonds. The under the gun checks, and I then bet out $20. There he reluctantly calls. You can tell kind of on his face he doesn't have much showdown value. But he does end up paying me off, which is spectacular because we make an extra $20. Again, especially since it's the last $20 we're going to win tonight. And he does muck his cards. And for a very short while, my stack will be $82 richer. Now to one of the two hands this session that's going to make me take up backgammon. We look down at pocket aces in the big blind. Middle position opens to 15, and there are 3 callers. So I'm going to raise it right up to $50 and see who stays in. And wouldn't you know it, if it's good for 15, it's good for 50. All 3 of them call me, and we go 4 ways to a 3-bet pot with 2 black aces. Now the flop comes out 9-9-3, 2 clubs, and action is on me, but I notice the guy to my left start reaching for chips right away. I know what I'm going to do, but I let him make a fool of himself, and he eventually does check out of turn, and the dealer corrects him. So I then bet out for $100 in first position, and he pretty quickly folds. Now the rest of the table folds as well, except for middle position, who made that initial $15 raise. He asks me if I have any bills behind, which I don't. I hate having $100 bills at the table. I like playing with chips. It makes me feel, I don't know, more professional. Either way, he doesn't re-raise. He just calls. And we go heads up to a turn after the dealer folds. The turn is the deuce of diamonds. Now, action's on me again, and I'm going to keep up the aggression with my aces and nines. I come out on the turn for $250. Middle position tanks for a little bit, and I would be quite happy with a fold here. But he then does what I absolutely was hoping he wouldn't do. He then jams all in, and he's got about, I don't know, like $6,000 in front of him. He has just been playing with like a 90% VPIP. He's been hitting absolutely everything. Backdoor flushes, backdoor straights. Could he really have a 9 in this spot? What am I saying? Of course he has a 9 in this spot. I have been showing aggression the whole way. He's got to put me on an overpair, aces, kings, queen, and he's not afraid of it. He's not playing his stack. He's obviously got a 9. So I, being a good player, am going to fold. Right? Right? What are you doing? Idiot. Fold. Get rid of those aces. You know they're no good. You made a good read. He was throwing a chip. Of course he's going to show a 9. Ace 9 suited, he shows. Of course you get felted, you fucking dumbass.
I know that's poker, but I don't know. I'm just going to sit up here in silence a little longer, see where my head's at in a few.
First time. play. Sorry about that. I just had
Oh,
no
no,
idea because
I wish I had more info, but I know that
Yeah, I don't-
he's correct. He went down across some the beach.
I'll-
They actually can tell you
I'll talk to the players first.
Fuck you. Go to the gym one time.
No, I'm trying to get a decent.
This is Bob.
I look fucking old.
Bob's my poker buddy. My wife says it's because I have unresolved daddy issues. And he's exactly my dad's age if he were alive. So, maybe. But either way, I enjoy his company. Terrible poker player.
All right, so against my better judgment, I take out another $1,000 and sit back down at the 2-5 table. In my very first hand, I have 3-4 of clubs. I'm in the hijack. I'm a couple of beers in. I'm still a little tilty, so I decide to limp in, see if I can connect with a cheap flop. Which, of course, I don't get a cheap flop because, somebody is obviously a better player than I and decides to open it up and says, no friendly pots, which is the proper way to play, so I can't even blame him. He raises it up to $25, which 3-4 is not $25 worth, but there are 4 callers. Now I'm getting good pot odds to see if I can just nail a flop. So we do. We go to the flop. The pot's already at $130, and it comes out pretty decent. Ace, deuce, deuce, 2 clubs. We have a gut shot, straight flush draw. Not a terrible flop for us. I'm actually feeling pretty good. I donk out here for $50 to try to weed this 5-person field a little bit and see where I'm at. And weed it does not when every single person calls and we are still 5-handed to a turn. Really hoping this goes my way. I would love to see a 5 of clubs and be able to move on from my aces getting cracked and stop tilting so bad. So we go off to a turn, which I'm hoping is the 5 of clubs, which it's not, but we do hit our straight. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. However, I got 4 callers on the flop, so now I decide to go a little higher because there are 2 flush draws out there now. The board is paired, but I can't be scared of monsters in the closet, so I just go right out for $200. The pot's $330. I bet $200. Let's see where we're at. The guy directly to my left thinks about it for a few. Thinks about it for a little bit more than a few. Still thinking. Just fold. I'll take this pot right now. I have a straight, dude. Calls my $200. All right. Great. Love that. Now, what is this guy smooth calling me with all along? Does he have the nut flush? Does he have a 2? Does he have the backdoor nut flush? Like, there's so many draws on this board, I do not want to see a river. My hand's already made. Anyway, my alarm bells start going off, and I start worrying about monsters in the closet, but I gotta be good in this situation, no? I can't get felted twice in 2 hands. I just sat back down at this table. Anyway, we get folds all around, and it is just me and the guy to my left. We go heads up to a river, which is a 9 of clubs. Technically, my hand gets upgraded, but I would have been happier with the straight, because now I have a baby flush. I check to him, and he pretty quickly goes all in. I don't know if it's the beers in me or if I'm still tilting, but I snap call. I should have thought about it more, and wouldn't you know, he flips over ace deuce. Flopped a full house. I was practically drawing dead. The 5 of clubs would have been the best fucking card I could have seen, but that's poker. We go rack up our chips. Oh wait, we don't have any chips. I can't even rack anything up, dude. In for $2,000, out for 0. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm literally going to join a checkers club after this absolute assault of a session that I just went through. Even editing this video brought me back PTSD. I don't know if I'm ever ready to see cards again. I don't know, man. Anyway, like, subscribe, ring the bell notification. I'll definitely be playing cards again. I'm I'm probably going to play tomorrow. See you on the next one.